Hi, it's Mike Stevenson here. Today in this video, we're going to have a look at the next sample in my series of samples working with the Microsoft AI agent frameworks. And today we're going to look at transitioning from the extensions.ai framework into the agent framework. So this SDK is basically a layer on top. The next video in this series, I'm going to actually deeper dive a little bit, talking about the two different frameworks and some of the differences. But before we do that, I'm just going to take a look through a sample of how this works, because it's just a slightly different way of using the SDK to talk to our LLM. So in the previous demo, we basically used Microsoft.Extensions.AI, and we looked at how we can do a chat interaction in a console app. And we also looked at how we can build an agent by using the function-invocation. In this video, we're now going to add Microsoft.Agents.AI, which is basically an abstraction at a higher level sitting on top of the extension framework. And it just gives us a slightly different way to use to build an agent. So what we're going to do here is we're going to we'll look at code more in a minute, but we're going to do this .AIAgent operation, which will give us a slightly different class. And then we're going to do a RunAsync rather than a get response, which was the other framework. So this this one sits after sample 5, which was basically the equivalent of today's demo, but in the other framework. But then after that previous video, we also did an API management version, just showing the subtle differences. So we'll probably do the same again with this framework, because I think down the line we'll do more videos where we change the back-end model from being a Foundry-based model to maybe something like Claude or ChatGPT or something. So I want to do a few different ways we can do this. Now, if we think about what's changed in this video, so we've taken away the direct interaction with the IChatClient, and we've taken out this use function invocation, and we're basically going to use this different NuGet package, and we're going to do AIAgent, which is basically the new bit after the construction of the chat client. And this will give us a slightly different set of operations to work with. If we compare this to sample 6, so this one doesn't have the API management bits in it, so we don't have to deal with this subscription key and that kind of thing. I'm just going to do the very vanilla ones. This one here is more similar to sample number 5. Now, if we look at the code side by side, so previously we were executing this bit here, and that's really the same as that, but we've got this new as AI agent. And what this lets us do is the bit at the bottom here where we're providing the tools and everything, this can go into the construction of our AI agent object that we're going to work with. And then the key bit down here is we're going to run async instead of doing a get response. So where this is going to help me is if I start building more advanced agents and I want to inject things like memory and other stuff, this agent framework SDK will have more capability to help me do that rather than having to build those advanced features myself. So if we have a quick look at a glance between the difference, so these two were the previous videos, and they were very, very similar, except we had that change between how we would call the model via APIM versus call directly. But in this sample, we've got the new AI agent is the key bit that's changed from this new SDK. Now, in App Insights, the key bit here is because App Insights sits at a layer underneath as part of the extension framework. Although we're using the agent framework now, everything else should really stay the same, and we're just going to have a look through that and have a look through what things look like inside App Insights, what works, what doesn't work, what we may want to do as a customization ourselves. And really, this sample's just really shown taking it to the next level if we transition into the other framework. So let's have a look through the code now, and we'll just step through what happens. So we jump up to the top here. Right, so to begin with, we're just doing all the normal stuff to get our code set up. This is the open telemetry stuff we looked at in video 2 and 3, so that's not changed at all. We've got the meter provider. We're now going to register the tools, exactly the same as we did in sample 5. And this is the first key bit that changes, so I'll just go back up here so you can see here we've got the Azure AI agent, and we pass the tools and the instructions into the construction of that object. Now we're going to step down, and again the bit that hasn't changed is because I'm doing the console app, we're doing this setup of a custom app insights request, which is driven by using the start activity operation here. This is really because we're doing a console app that we need this for the telemetry. Now, if you'll notice, I've commented out some code here. Okay, so what I want to do here is I don't want to do my custom activity that I was doing in the other framework around my agent, so I want to just see what happens out the box. Now, the reason I did it previously was because that framework doesn't inject in these parameters into the app insights trace, which basically makes the app insight agent dashboard come alive. So I want to have a look at what happens out the box, and then we may change it. So I'm going to do my RunAsync here. So my call's going to go out to the model, it's going to interact with my agents, call back, execute the tools. We then get our token usage, so you can see we've pushed in 1,000 tokens, got back 155. Again, these commented out lines are because I'm not doing the custom login properties that we were doing previously. And then that'll just finish now. What we'll do is we'll have a quick look in App Insights over here. Okay, so obviously this is going to log in. So first off, if we have a look in our trace log, so the one we did previously, I think, was the wrong one. That's better. So we're in App Insights again now. So here I'm looking at recent calls, and the key thing you'll notice is if we look at this agent run here, that doesn't show up. So there's no agent runs appearing in App Insight. Now we do have the telemetry indicating tools are being executed, models are being executed, and also tokens down at the bottom here are being ran. Now, what you'll notice is if you click this, and the key bit to note is you can see the GenAI operations looking for invoke agent, which was the thing we had a problem with in our previous video. So I was kind of hoping the agent framework would have dealt with that for me. Now, if we go and have a look at the end-to-end transactions, so we'll see if we look in the trace here, we'll see we've had our agent run, and you'll see as this winds through, you'll see all the different properties we've got over here appearing on the right. The orchestrate tools is put in by the agent framework, so again you'll see it's an in-process dependency. And if we go down, you'll see there's a few kind of properties down here. So we get our input and output tokens logged, and they've got the right name for that property, which is really good. We also get the calls to the model, so we've got that, which is good, and we'll get the telemetry for that. And we've got the tool execution down here, so you'll see I've got my assistant and I've got my tool here, and I've got, again, some of these other things down here, which is really good. So you can see this is an execute tool operation and so on. But the bit that's missing is that invoke agent, which is the bit. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go back and modify my code and show how we make that dashboard come alive. So if you notice here, I've gone back and just in this code, I've uncommented this span that I had in earlier with this start activity that we can inject into the open telemetry trace. And the key bit I'm going to add is this line here, this invoke agent, which is on the GenAI.operation.name. And I'm also going to add the agent name as well. So if I just run that through, then if we go back and look at our app insights here, so you'll see now that we've ran that, we've actually got one agent run, and I can open this up. Well, we should, if we give that a minute or so, we'll see this starting to appear. So you can see we've got these agent runs that it's really this matching dependency that we've appeared here. So this shows me that this is actually doing its job now, and we're actually lighting up that agent. So this dashboard's now fully working, which is really good. But obviously, I had to add that custom bit of code. Now, if we go back through, what we'll see in our end-to-end traces, we've now got this custom dependency here, this invoke agent one. And if you notice, this is where I've put in these two properties that weren't being populated by the agent framework, which is a little bit of a shame and quite frustrating in a way, that they weren't getting populated. And we can see, if we look on here, you can see it's still kind of the same. I think one of the things that's quite interesting is when I put that dependency in, it seems to populate this Microsoft.Gen.AI agent name, but it's actually in a different namespace, which doesn't make the App Insights dashboard light up. So this, for me, is one of the frustrations with the few frameworks that there are, is there's a bit of inconsistency around what properties get populated in the open telemetry. So as a FinOps person, when I'm looking to try and get consistent logging of tokens, showing me who's using what tokens, if everybody's logging in different properties, it becomes really challenging. And I think that's one of the things that's coming out as a pattern across my videos, that I think Microsoft need to tighten that up so it becomes better for everybody. Otherwise, I hope people find this video really useful. I guess maybe one bit just to call out is you can still see all of the dependencies and the traces like we did earlier. You know, that this is all exactly the same. And it just shows that even though the framework's changed, the one issue we've got in the login's still consistent, and the rest of the data is all in the same place, regardless of which framework you're using, which is a real win. Thank you for listening to today's video.